Hello, my name is Morgan Templeton, and I'm going to be going into depth about the cloth material system that I've created and all of its multiple different features and some of the core pillars behind its functionality. So in front of me here, there's just a blank, empty canvas with default material on the cloth. As you can kind of see, it's over a sphere, so just something basic to start off with. So the really interesting thing is to get started, all you need to do is create a material instance. It's very similar to creating a shader in Unity and then creating material off of that. It's where it inherits all of its key functionality from. So I'm just going to create an instance and I'm going to drag it onto our thing. And as you can see, we kind of start off with a basic cotton material. It's generally the easiest entry point for a lot of the beginnings of different cloths, I guess is the best way to put it. So we'll start off with this and let's jump right into it. So you'll immediately see multiple different things. First off, I'll go over the fuzz amount, as that is one of the core pillars of the actual cloth itself. So how fuzzy you want something to be can dramatically change how it's actually influenced from the lighting. This can also change from the metallics, and you can see that we start to get some pretty funky and interesting results. Now onto some of the core fundamentals that a lot of people are going to be familiar with. We have some regular normal map and roughness map inputs. So currently I have, I think, cotton, denim, which you can see is a little bit different, and silk. Now silk is the most interesting one in my opinion, so we're going to stick with silk. Now, these also obviously change the influence of the lighting, and you can see that we get a much smoother. These obviously have their own scale modifier, so we can adjust how much they scale by. I have it set to 4 on default. It just suits the overall display that we're using. Now going into it, there's also an additional feature called masking. Now masking is pretty simple. You're able to put in patterns, and then you can even scale those patterns. So for example, I'm going to scale this up massively. Oopsies, that's a bit too massive. I meant like 30. Now the good thing is that this has two similar inputs, so you can have a pattern that is based purely on color. So you can have two separate colors, like a yellow and then a blue. However, the great thing about masking is that it can also utilize the metallic. So for example, we're going to set this to the fuzz amount to 1, and we're going to check that out, and you can see when we get into some of the darker parts that the metallic really starts to shine through. However, it also works for opacity masking, which allows us to create a sort of fine mesh for our objects. That's sort of the core fundamentals behind it, and the core functionality, but it's as simple as that. Anything that you can really think of that you could make, you can, and everything's stored at the drop of a button. This one's my favorite. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day.